Hello everyone, this is my WL Toys V977. As you can see, tail motor is out of it. I took it to an indoor event over the winter, and while trying some 3D, the tail motor got ripped out of it. What happens, it's a common issue with these helicopters, is on a heavy crash sometimes this motor will actually pop out of its housing and the wires in the back of it will get ripped out. So rather than trying to buy another motor and feed the wires through, I just bought a whole nother assembly. Only about $5 on Banggood. Issue being, this is a universal replacement, and as you can see, the boom, once in the helicopter, it's about an inch shorter. I'm not sure if that'll affect flight or not. So hopefully not. This is the universal one. There's a direct V977 replacement, which is a few dollars more. I probably should have just gone for that. The tools you'll need are a set of cutters or dikes, a single thin-tipped Phillips screwdriver, a zip tie, because all the wires are zip tied in place underneath the canopy. I've already cut the previous one off. I'll show you underneath the canopy what I'm talking about. The zip tie actually goes right here where this cluster of wires is. And go ahead and get started on the replacement. So the boom, at least for mine, is not glued in. It's just friction fit. You just slowly back it out. It just pops right out. And then, since the wire's already ripped out on mine, you just peel this off. You could actually save this boom for later in case you break a boom. Now, there is a screw here and then right here between the main shaft and this guide right here. So you could do it one of two ways. You could pull feathering shaft assembly and all of this off just to get to this one screw, or you could kind of go a cheater method like I did, and I put this servo all the way down and then these two servos almost all the way up, and then you kind of just peel the guide rail off without breaking it, so it's not in the way of your screwdriver anymore. And then just take your screws out. I'm sorry for the poor video quality. I don't have adequate lighting in here, and I used to have a Canon, a Nikon D3200, and that got stolen, so quality of my videos will be, at least my build videos and my repair videos will be subpar for a little while till I can get a replacement camera. Right now I'm recording on a General Electric X2600, which actually isn't a bad camera for just a point and shoot. So here are your two screws and your guide assembly, and this actually has some notches. Let's see that one right there on the tip for the servos to fit through, and these servos are not screwed or glued in. I went with the left hand side, but you'd go with either, and the left hand side one just pops right up and off, and then just push your wires through, figure out which wire goes onto the receiver board, and just pull that off. Then you take your new replacement one. Thankfully everything fits perfectly, so there's no soldering, there's no wires to replace, everything fits perfect. And then you route your wire between the motor and the main shaft. The servo up and over. And put your servo back in place. Wires on top of the carbon fiber boom. And then you just slide it into the notch for it. Being very careful with your wires. This is an important step, because if you shear one of those wires off, it's not going to be fun to fix those, because they're not easy to solder. Okay, now that that's in place, now that you have that in place, make sure your wires are routed through correctly. Unlike mine right now. I want to keep them low and away from the motor or any moving parts like servo arms. I just want to make sure those wires are tucked in nicely and neatly. Because if they catch on a servo arm or the motor itself, they're just going to get twisted up and destroyed. So now you want to run the zip tie through to gather up all these wires and keep them nice and tidy as well. And where you run that zip tie through, see one hole the very last hole you can see right right by the left top of the control board. You can just barely see it where my thumb is. Right there is where your zip tie is going to go through. Once I get it zip tied on there, you'll see it a little bit better. Again, sorry for the poor video quality. So run your zip tie through. And then start the zip tie. Don't notch it all the way down tight just yet. Just get some pressure on those wires so you can get them organized. And so you can get an idea of how everything's going to look once you do tighten it up. Again, with these helicopters, you want to try to keep things as tidy as possible. So I usually try to tighten all the wires going behind the zip tie and then leave all the slack up front by the control board. That way there's not a lot of slack by the moving parts. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I still have a little bit of slack left in the zip tie, so let me get rid of that. Okay, that's where your cutters come in for removing and trimming your zip tie. Okay, so that is a replaced tail motor. The V977. I will do a test flight. I can spool it up right now just to make sure everything's still working. Actually, that is not replaced yet. Totally missed a step. So the last step is to replace the bracket that's holding all your servos in place and to hold your canopy on. So take my screwdriver and just replace those. Again, it's just 2 screws. One back here. I'm not going to tighten these all the way down just yet. Also, another big issue, make sure these 2 wires you just replaced right in here are not underneath those the screw alignment hole, because if they are underneath that and you run a screw through it, tail motor's not going to work and you're going to have to fix those wires. And that's what we're trying to avoid, is creating more work for ourselves than we already have. At some point, I need to replace the swash plate on this helicopter. So that'll be another video. I already have the swash plate. I just haven't found the time to place it yet. I believe the reason why it's stopping is because it doesn't need any rudder currently to keep it in place. So perfect. Looks like I have a working V977 again. I'll try and record a flight with it soon. Thanks for watching. Leave any comments or questions below. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Again, I apologize for the low video quality on this. Hopefully I can get a better camera or at least lighting set up soon.